Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Monday, May 12th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this would be a video for you. First off, a couple of clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, NVVE, monster mover today. Very nice little pattern here headed into the weekend. So let's get this pattern mapped out and we'll see if it continues to play out. Now, let me be very clear. As I draw on this pattern, I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply this is a secret discovery or a great talent. This is something that a lot of people are doing. And I say that because when a lot of people are watching the same patterns and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So let's get this drawn into play here. So first part of the pattern would be more so the resistance portion of it right here. Next part would be this lower part down here. Let me change that to green to represent support. And then just to make sure that everybody can see it, let's keep it one color. So we have our resistance. We have our support. We have the big upwards move right there. We have the golf hole down here. And this would be known as a bull pennant pattern. Now, just because something's a bullish pattern does not mean for sure or guaranteed it's going to go up. But would it be shocking? Would it catch people off guard if this consolidates a little bit more, comes up here, gets the break, and then gets more upside buying pressure? That would not be shocking. So is it guaranteed to happen? Absolutely not. Is that a valid question to throw out there and suggest that could happen? Absolutely. So if you like this price range, you like bull pennants, keep an eye on it. Next one here, NXTT, another absolutely monster mover, and yeah, another bull pennant pattern. So I'm going to go through this a little quicker. I want to respect your time as much as possible. So there is the area of resistance. There is our area of support. And then just to keep it the same color, so we have resistance, we have support, we have a nice upwards move there, we have the golf hole down here, we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. So definitely very explosive, and you got to think a lot of people are certainly watching and wondering, okay, does this consolidation get the move to the upside? So grab your popcorn for Monday. Next one here, QBTS. Talked about this one in yesterday's top 10 video, and good movement today, put in higher highs and higher lows, and from a trend building standpoint, that's what it's all about. You just want to see those higher bases being put into play. So what I would call the ideal level of support going forward, when you say, Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute strongest going forward? And that would be if the price can stay above that trend line right there. Now, with that said, if the price falls below it, does not mean that chart's ruined or destroyed or anything like that. But yeah, if the price could somehow manage to stay above that area, that would certainly be a very, very impressive sign of strength. But taking a step back and looking at things from the bigger picture, that's where the purple line there comes into play, the 50-period simple moving average. Keyword being moving. So I understand the price way up here, but as time goes by, that line is going to move itself higher and higher. So it's basically like a trend line that's going to draw itself for you. So assuming you care about the big picture standpoint, as long as the price is above that purple line from the overarching viewpoint, then overall the bulls are still plenty in control and the chart is plenty healthy. Again, I'm well aware that if you're some sort of day trader and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 10 minutes, well then yes, from that standpoint, you really don't care about that purple line. But that's where I'm trying to create a point of distinction between someone that cares more so about the bigger picture and somebody that's more of a day trader. In terms of levels of resistance, main battleground moving into Monday seems to be right up there around the $11.50. So keep an eye on that mark. But all in all, another good day. Next one here, ITP. And this is a pretty brutal looking chart. I'm not going to call it a full-blown pump and dump, but it's getting very, very close. A pump and dump being defined as a price makes a really impressive movement, and then within a relatively small amount of time, the price goes back to where it was. And the reason why I'm still going to cut this a little bit of slack, although it's knocking on the door, is the price is still up above, this area here at about 32.5 cents. And while I'm not saying this will occur, just for explanation's sake, if the price were to come down there and then break down below it, what would that be doing to the price? That would quite literally be putting the price right back inside of this area where it was before the big move happened. Or in other words, that would quite frankly imply that the price made a huge move up and then essentially in the same day or two went right back to where it was. In my opinion, that is the epitome of a pump and dump. So like I said, maybe some of you disagree and you say, no, Clay, this is a pump and dump already. Fair enough. Like I said, I want to give the price a chance because maybe the price curls back up and, recovers from all of this. But yes, as of right now, things are looking pretty shaky. But if the price cannot hold above 32.5 cents, then as I showed, that is putting the price literally right back to where it all began, which is not exactly a sign of any sort of genuine power. Next one here, NVDA. And overall, the chart's hanging in there. Yes, a little disappointing. I realize that late day, things were looking pretty impressive, but the price did pull back here. Did fall down below that trend line, but as I talked about in the previous video, that was one of those ideal trend lines, like I explained in a previous chart. If the price would have stayed above there, that would have certainly been a very, very impressive sign of strength. But just because the price broke below it right there doesn't ruin anything, because as you notice here, the price is still nicely above the purple line. I was going to say tested it, but that's kind of a stretch. I don't even know if that necessarily got close to it. But point being is the price is still maintaining above that purple line. So sure, it did pull back, but it's not like the price per se did anything wrong from a bigger picture standpoint. Yes, I realize it did do something wrong if you're a day trader that bought right there and wanted to buy and sell in the breakout within 2 minutes. But I'm just saying, quote unquote, doing something wrong from the vantage point of someone that cares about the overall standpoint. So big picture wise, watch that purple line there headed into next week with that key overarching area of resistance still the main battleground. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering next week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down below in the description area you can use to click on, or if you're watching right at my website, there's an area on the webpage that you can get clicked on and sign up through there. But like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Next one here, PLTR. Overall, the chart is doing just fine. Did a fantastic job earlier of the week, or I should really say more so midweek, staying above that pink line there, the 200 period moving average. Got above the purple line on Thursday. Even with the pullback here, the price is still above it. In fact, even looking closer, even with the pullback, that purple line there has actually started to slope back upwards, which is a good sign in and of itself. So again, yes, it's all about perspective. And that's what makes my life difficult with these charts because, yes, I understand day traders that bought right there and we're looking for some sort of continuation up to there. Not looking so good. But if you do care about the grand scheme of it all, the price, even with the pullback today, like I said, is still making progress forward. So in terms of areas of resistance, nothing new to talk about. Still going to need to keep an eye on 122 and 125 next week. As far as levels of support are concerned, then yes, definitely, preferably speaking, you want to see the price now stay above that purple line because as it curled back upwards, as time goes by next week, that line's going to keep on working higher and higher. As long as that's the case, then yeah, that purple line's going to keep creeping up, and that's a good sign. But from the overarching standpoint, definitely the more important level is going to be that pink line down there, which is the 200 period moving average. So that line will also creep upwards. So, that's one that's more so kind of the overarching trend line, if you will. But overall, yeah, pulled back today, but big picture wise, things are still making progress, and we'll see if it can curl back up and do battle with those highs again. Next one here, LYFT, a pretty interesting looking chart. You have the opening 30 minutes, very strong, and then just slow and steady grind all day long, which put in that level there. Then we have this very aggressive area right there. So, it's just a weird looking chart. That's not quite a rising wedge, which would be bearish. So you can't call it a rising wedge. It is an upwards channel, but the channel just has such a steep angle to it that it's a unique looking chart. So one of those but that's really what we want as traders, right? We want those unique. We want those interesting situations, and not necessarily because they give us a trade plan right away, but it's at least worth keeping an eye on. So case in point, let's say maybe the price pulls back a little bit. Well, now all of a sudden, you'd have a little bit more to work with. You'd say, okay, here's a pullback. Okay, there's a nice move up. Okay, look, there's like a bull flag pattern, for example. Now, I don't know if that's going to occur, but my point here is that very interesting looking chart, great volume, great price movement. And yeah, let's see what happens with this channel. Does it just keep sticking with the channel? I mean, I would think that it's probably going to need to pull back and break to the downside. But again, very unique channel and situation. So yeah, let's see how this one plays out next week. Next one, MARA, and I think, let me make sure. Yeah, we're at a very, very interesting scenario right now. As I speak, and market is still open for another 7 minutes. But as I speak, you can see the price is oh so slightly peeking its head up through this resistance area here, which now prompts an always exciting question. That question being, is this the start of something bigger? Now think about that question. It makes no sense to ask that question if nothing is even happening. Because you couldn't say, hey, is this the start of something bigger? Is what the start, right? That doesn't make any sense. But in this situation, it makes total sense because when you say, is what the start of something even bigger? We would say, well, the breakout that's occurring right here. To be fair, maybe it's not. Maybe this thing just rolls right back over. But again, to be fair, that is a two-sided coin because maybe this is the start of a bigger breakout and this thing's getting ready to rock and roll. But any way you look at it, the price is, like I said, peeking its head up above that level. So yeah, is this the start of an even bigger breakout to come next week? Let's see what happens. Next one, ASST. Been tracking this one pretty closely. Had this bull pennant that played out, that formed yesterday. And kind of sloppy today, but not in really a bad sense. I mean, it did slowly drop below here before recovering. Then it got a little bit above there before dropping back down, but then it did kind of recover back up. So it's not like any of this was necessarily a bad day, but just not the cleanest of moves. But, I mean, it does make sense. You got to think there's a lot of profit takers out there. I mean, you look at all the people that were buying down below $3. I mean, that's a lot of volume that people are now going to want to take profits on. But to think that there's that many people wanting to take profits and that this thing isn't just crashing right back down, that's a pretty impressive sign of strength in and of itself. So I'm going to get rid of those levels, and we'll just start afresh now that we have more data. Really seems as though the main level of sellers has now really kind of made themselves apparent right up here at $8.80. You can see right there is where it got rejected, and then right there. So keep a close eye on that area. And then as far as support levels are concerned, we have this trend line right here. So really, if you want to just look at this from a multi-day, this wasn't necessarily my plan, but we'll go with it. But if you want to look at this as a multi-day pattern, so there's our resistance, there's our support, there's the big move up, and yes, here we're looking at a multi-day bull pennant pattern. So depending on your vantage point, you could just look at it as this, but all things considered, it's holding up very nicely, and we'll see if the momentum kicks into gear once again next week. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and very, very impressive day today. This will mean a little bit more if you watched the previous video, but if you did, I talked about that area. Well, let me take an even bigger step back. Look at the last 30 minutes from yesterday. This big downwards move here. And at that point, I was saying, uh-oh. Wow, that kind of rained on the parade of the chart. But just like that, after a final 30 minutes like that on Thursday, the price came up, broke through that area of resistance, and is now giving us a good solid bull pennant pattern. And it is also outside of this sideways channel that we've been tracking for quite a while. So the price has actually gotten up through that channel. And now I'm very curious to see if it can hold above it. And that's what I'm also going to make as a bottom part of the pattern. Just because you really don't want to see the price fall back below here. Not that that means the entire chart's destroyed. But that would imply that the price is well back inside of this sideways channel. Which is not necessarily where you want it to go, assuming you're bullish. But now we have that level right there as a resistance. So resistance, support. Big old move up. How did that happen? Let's try that again. Resistance, support, big move up, golf hole down here, another bull pennant pattern. So bull pennant after the big old sideways channel pattern breakout. Yeah, definitely setting up for a potentially very, very interesting week for Tesla next week. So grab your popcorn. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more, then definitely go get signed up for the free class. It'll be next week, Thursday, May 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, so I hope to see you there. And as far as these top 10 videos are concerned, as always, if you enjoy these, make sure you hit that like button. And if you're not yet a subscriber, hit that subscribe button so you know that when new content is released. And also, I have been live streaming, so if you want to come hang out, see some live trading, talk the markets, just hang out, check out the channel. I go live every day at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, so check it out if you have extra time in your day. So thanks again for watching. Have a great weekend, and make sure you get signed up for the free class next week.